Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. Well, we made it over the hump, and we're in the home stretch toward the weekend. Of course, you have your news headlines coming up on this Thursday. We have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's news you can use, we'll be hearing my conversation with nutrition expert Cara Harbstreet, talking about the benefits of potatoes when it comes to your diet. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with their Thursday headlines. In national news, air travel across the U.S. thrown into chaos after computer outage. Thousands of flights across the U.S. were canceled or delayed on Wednesday after a government system that offers safety and other information to pilots broke down, stranding some planes on the ground for hours. The White House said there was no evidence that a cyber attack triggered the outage, which upended travel plans for millions of passengers. President Joe Biden said he directed the Department of Transportation to investigate. The breakdown showed how much American air travel depends on an antiquated computer system that generates alerts called NOTAMs, or Notice to Air Missions to Pilot and Others. Before a flight takes off, pilots and airline dispatchers must review the notices, which include details about weather, runway closures, or construction, and other information that could affect the flight. The system was once telephone-based, with pilots calling dedicated flight service stations for the information, but it has moved online. The system broke down late Tuesday and was not fixed until mid-morning on Wednesday, leading to more than 1,200 flight cancellations and more than 8,500 delays by early afternoon on the East Coast, according to flight tracking website FlightAware. Even after the Federal Aviation Administration lifted the order grounding planes, the chaos was expected to linger. More than 21,000 flights were scheduled to take off Wednesday in the U.S., mostly domestic trips, and about 1,800 international flights expected to fly to the U.S., according to an aviation data firm. Airports in Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, and Atlanta saw 30% to 40% of flights delayed. In more national news, White House says Jill Biden has 2 cancerous lesions removed. Surgeons removed a cancerous lesion above First Lady Jill Biden's right eye and one on her chest, the White House said on Wednesday, while a third lesion on her left eyelid was being examined. The lesion on her left eye was fully excised with margins and was sent for standard microscopic examination, according to the doctor's report. The type of lesion Jill Biden had is the most curable form of skin cancer. It is a slow-growing cancer that usually is confined to the surface of skin. Doctors almost always can remove it all with a shallow incision and seldom causes serious complications or becomes life-threatening. The Bidens spent the day at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Maryland, while the 71-year-old First Lady had the scheduled outpatient procedure to remove and examine the lesions. They had arrived by helicopter from the White House at 8 a.m. that morning. The doctor said the First Lady was experiencing some facial swelling and bruising, but was in good spirits and doing well. In Mississippi news, Mississippi reports 14th death of a child due to COVID-19. A 14th Mississippi child has died from COVID-19, the state's Department of Health said on Wednesday. The infant under the age of 1 was the most recent child to die in Mississippi. The child was the first person under 18 to die from COVID-19 in the state in 2023. According to State Department of Health data, 8 children between the ages of 11 and 17 have died since the first cases of the virus were identified in 2020, making that age range the most prone to pediatric deaths in the state so far. Dr. Paul Beers, the state epidemiologist, said the deaths should serve as a reminder for residents to get vaccinated and to make sure that they are up to date on booster shots to protect against the virus. Vaccination not only protects you, but it also protects those around you who may not be eligible for vaccination or who may be at higher risk for complications due to age or underlying health problems, Beer said in the news release. It is important to stay up to date and receive the most recent booster when eligible in order to provide the best protection against infection, hospitalization, and death from COVID-19, he said. In more national news, Bill safety Damar Hamlin released from Buffalo Hospital. Bill safety Damar Hamlin was released from a Buffalo hospital on Wednesday more than a week after he went into cardiac arrest and had to be resuscitated during a game at Cincinnati after his doctors said they completed a series of tests. A news release from the Bills quoted Dr. Jamie Nadler as saying, "We have completed a series of tests and evaluation, and in consultation with the team physicians, we are confident that Damar can be safely discharged." Nadler said Hamlin will continue his rehabilitation with the Bills. Hamlin is going home after spending 2 days undergoing tests at Buffalo General Medical Center. He was transferred to Buffalo on Monday after spending last week at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, where the 24-year-old from the Pittsburgh area experienced what doctors call a remarkable recovery. And finally, in business news, stocks rise as traders make last moves before inflation data. U.S. stocks rallied Wednesday as investors locked in their final moves ahead of a highly anticipated report on inflation, one that could show whether Wall Street's rising optimism recently has been warranted or overdone. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's on time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to today's edition of Words I Choose to Live By. Here you go. You made it over the hump to another day. Now, what are you going to do with this opportunity? You never know what you can accomplish until you try, so make today about using faith to push past your fears. If you put forth the effort, you will see that you are more than capable of handling anything that comes your way. Have an amazing Thursday. We are part of my conversation coming up with food and nutrition expert Cara Harbstreet in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your news you can use. Food expert Cara Harbstreet joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about the benefits of potatoes in your diet and some ways to spice things up. Here's a bit of our conversation.
Cara, thank you so much for the time today. Really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks so much for having me. And I couldn't be more excited to talk about potatoes. They are America's favorite vegetable, and for good reason. They're so much more than just delicious. They're a nutritional powerhouse. And I really love the affordability, the long shelf life, and a lot of these cooking methods are much faster than we might think.
Yeah. Well, I have to be honest with you, Cara. My radio audience here in Mississippi knows when I think of potatoes, my first thing is French fries. But I know you're going to be sharing some other things with us that will.
Well, you can never go wrong with you can never go wrong with a favorite.
Right. So let's talk about something people may not think about then, Cara. So why should people include more potatoes in their diet?
Well, I think the nutrition in potatoes is an undertold story. And so one of the things I'm most excited to share is that, the nutrients in potatoes are a fantastic way to incorporate more of these key nutrients. So, for example, potatoes provide almost a third of our vitamin C for the day, and they have more potassium than the 20 most popular fruits and vegetables. So that's a really fun trivia fact I love to share. And then many people are thinking about, what keeps us fuller longer? And the nutrition comes into play there as well, because potatoes have 3 grams of plant-based protein. That's more than any other commonly eaten vegetable besides dried beans. And finally, we can't forget about the fiber, which is another key nutrient for overall health.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that may come up, and I was not really kidding about loving French fries, even though I really do. I do understand that in growing up, my family would love to find, different ways to be able to cook with potatoes. Can you share your hacks for cooking with potatoes that our audience may not have thought about?
Well, one of my favorites, and this might be right up your alley if you are a French fry fan, is the air fryer. So either roasting in the oven or roasting in an air fryer can be a very quick cooking method for potatoes.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversations Daily News. But Brad's got on tomorrow to wrap up this week. Until then, I'm your host Cyrus Webb saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Now let's go make it a good one.